definition.
I would beg to differ. I mean, he's a good player, but there's times where, you know, Bobby Farnham scored a huge goal, and you could say the line that he's on is quote-unquote the fourth line, but it's not. I think it really comes back to, you know, having four balanced lines that can all play well, and when Andrew Ebbett's line isn't going, then we're going to need Bobby Farnham's line to go, and so that's the way we look at it.
Actually, I wanted to ask you something about Farnham. At this, you know, obviously he does such a great job with the energy and agitating, but when you get later in the year, do you need him to change that a little bit and be careful he doesn't cross that line, because a penalty can be a killer this time?
Yeah, you know, I think the game he's playing right now is really translating into what we want him to be able to do, and that adaptation has come earlier this year. You know, I think when you look at his penalty minutes, you know, he very rarely takes penalties now, and I think he's playing a more controlled game just emotionally. I think he is always into the game and aggressive and things like that, but when you look at the impact he has in the game, he's killing some penalties for us. He's been able to chip in offensively. He's done a much better job with the puck, and you know, that's really when you take a guy like Bobby and you think, well, does he have to change for the playoffs? During the course of this year, we've tried to get him ready at this point so his assets can be real effective for us, and we think he's at that point.
Yeah, and you still got the speed.
And he's, you know, and we've played him up too. Like the last couple of games, he's played with Mattia and Wilson, and I think that line's been pretty effective. And with Mark Tony and Archibald, so you know, he's done a nice job, and he's bringing some different elements to his game.
I wanted to ask you, just sort of in general, where you feel like you are right now, your game is right now. I mean, you had the long stretch where you went, I think, 8-0-1, and then lost a couple in a row, and then had the win Sunday. You talked about, you know, puck decisions and puck management and stuff like that. I wonder if you feel like things have sharpened up because of the way things went Sunday, or if that's still something you're keeping an eye on.
It's something that we're going to keep an eye on. You know, we've had a good stretch. I think our mentality as a team and our team culture is very good. You know, the drive to do the right things, and when you have an assessment of where your team's at, are they together? Do they buy into what you're trying to do? I think we have all those things in place. Now it's really just consistency. It's, you know, even though we lost some of those games, there was some, you know, big chunks of those games where we really liked it, but we want to be more consistent in certain areas of our game. Effort has been consistent. I think it comes down to the ability to not try to force things with the puck this time of year. It's take what the game's given us, and when we got in trouble, we forced it too fast.
I have a notebook item I want to ask you about. Brian Lerg was Player of the Week. You have a long history with him. What did you think about the success he had?
Oh, it's great to see. You know, we saw him when you know, I wasn't surprised to see him named captain when he was in Worcester, and you know, going into the season knowing he was going to be a leader there and the type of team they had, kind of had a feeling they were going to be a team to contend with, and you can see it is now. And not surprised. I mean, he's an excellent player, a real high character guy, and really happy for him to see that when he left here, I think he had some injury trouble, and now that he's back on his feet and rehab, he's having an exceptional year, and it's nice to see him not only play well on the ice, but I think being a captain in this league is a pretty special tribute to a player, and it's certainly well deserved for him.